Hi, I'm David Parker, and I'm here with my fellow Visio MVP, Chris Roth, who is going to lift the hood on Visio to help us increase our productivity.
That's it. That's right, David. We're going to peek inside at two advanced features, one called the Document Stencil, one called the Drawing Explorer, and both of these give you a view into the inner workings of a Visio document file and allow you to do some advanced things that save you some time, and they're interesting as well. So let's have a look. Let's jump right in. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Document Stencil, as you might guess from this title block. And I need to back up a little bit and point at the stencils that would open with a standard flowchart template. You can see that we've got cross-functional flowchart shapes, basic flowchart shapes. The important thing about this is they're external files. These are windows into separate files of master shapes.
They're a global library, aren't they?
So to speak. If I click on more shapes and go way down to the bottom, you'll see there's this mysterious item called Show Document Stencil. And I'm going to drag that over here. It's a blank stencil, so it's not very interesting right now. But the important thing about it is part of this file. So this white piece of paper and this stencil are the same file. And what happens when you start diagramming and dragging masters into the document is that these masters get copied to the document stencil. You'll notice as I add more processes, nothing else happens. But what's happening is these shapes are called instances of this master. This is sort of the background definition for each one of these shapes. So we'll add some more. You can see we've got lots of masters being added to the local stencil, but this makes the document portable. Even if the consumer of this drawing doesn't have these stencils on his system, he's got the master definition so that the shape can continue to exist, so to speak.
Okay.
Okay. Now, these are all pointing back to their local master. If I double click on this, I can actually edit it and change the definition for what a decision shape is in this document, on any page in this document, but not out in the outside world in these other stencils, only in this document.
Can I double click on the ones on the left-hand side?
Well, you can try, but nothing happens. If you right click and try to edit, you'll see that it's grayed out. So, because these are shipping content that came with the Visio installation, they want to prevent the changing of that. But if you make your own stencil or you're editing a document stencil, you're more than welcome to double click and go in and edit it. So I've decided that I want all my decision shapes to have some default text. So I'll type that in. And I want them to be a tasteful shade of green. And I'll have a darker line that's a little bit thicker. And now I'm going to rotate it a little bit, just a little bit, because I want decision shapes with attitude. We've made all of our edits, so now we can just close this window, and Visio will say, oh, basically it's saying, you've changed this. Do you want to apply the changes to everything in the document? And I'll say, yes, I do. And you can see that there are, to varying degrees, the changes have applied to all the shapes in the document. The first shape has taken everything. It's rotated to the left. It has a thick line. It has the coloring, and it has the default text. The second one has everything but the default text because we had overridden that by typing text on it. The third one has even less changes because it was rotated the other way. It was colored red, it had text formatting and text on top of that. So you can see that you can control every decision shape in the document just by editing at one point, but be aware that you'll have varying degrees of, so we say trickle down, if you've done a lot of edits in the document, which most people don't do too much of when they're flowcharting.
Okay, so that's the document stencil. Is there any other way I can explore the elements in this drawing?
Yes, we can. That's the second part of our demo today. Let's close that down and let's head over to the Drawing Explorer. Now, the Drawing Explorer does more than just allow you to explore masters. You can check out pages and shapes and everything. We'll see that in just a second, but we won't be able to see it until we turn on developer mode, and we have to do that by customizing the ribbon.
Or you can do in the backstage, I think, as well. But
I'll do it here.
Okay.
I like to right-click on the ribbon. And we just have to click Developer tab, and you'll see we have a new tab. And right there we have an item called the Drawing Explorer, oddly enough. Now it's moved over here. We can dock it to the right. It's a typical anchor bar window. And you can see it's got all sorts of, it's a hierarchical tree that shows the structure of the document. We've got foreground pages. We've got styles, custom patterns. Can't really go into those today, but masters.
Masters, yeah.
And you can see when I expand that, I have a big list of masters. And you're probably wondering, is that the same set of masters that's stored in the document stencil? And yes, it is. You'd be right to ask that question.
And I notice it's now in alphabetical order. It makes it easier to see them.
That's a real good point. That's one thing I always forget. But if you're having trouble finding masters in the document stencil, the Drawing Explorer sorts them alphabetically and makes them much easier to find. So let's look at something more obvious. There's no background pages in this diagram, but there are foreground pages. The plus gives it away. We'll expand that and you go, wow, my God.
I couldn't see all them down there.
If you look down here on the tab, you'll see there's 4 pages. It looks like there's a few more, but did you know there was 30 pages in this document? So this is one of my favorite reasons for using the Drawing Explorer. If you have many, many pages in a Visio document, it's much easier to navigate them just using the Drawing Explorer. You can see as I click on any page, it jumps around. I can even hit the up arrow key and go back in the order. So let's go back to page 1, and we've got plus sign, so there's more things to drill down to. You can see we've got shapes. We've got this one. Now you'll notice there's some different icons here. This is actually an image, and Drawing Explorer tells you that that's an image. This is just a simple shape, and this is a grouped shape. Right. And you'll notice the icon and also the plus. The group shapes have more shapes inside. So not only have we created a group shape of a standard office configuration, but we gave it a meaningful name, Standard Office 1. Whereas you'll notice the other shapes up here have obscure names like Sheet 15, Sheet 16. Those are default Visio names. But Drawing Explorer to the rescue again, you can give meaningful names to shapes, subshapes, and they're in alphabetical order again.
Yeah, cool.
So that's it for the Drawing Explorer. You can rename elements. You can give them meaningful names so it's easier to navigate through pages, shapes, subshapes. You can tell by icons what's going on. And you can discover mysteries that you might not have discovered otherwise.
Well, thanks, Chris. I think there is a lot of information there that is key for those users who want to go a little bit deeper into Visio. Thank you very much.